Hi, I'm Saurabh Thapa. My student ID is P2865078. Today I will present a proposal for Amazon to deepen its commitment to Sustainable Development Goal number 13, which is climate action. Over the next 10 to 12 minutes, I will cover a concise company overview, a short primer on the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals and why Sustainable Development Goal number 13 is urgent, a company specific rationale for committing to Sustainable Development Goal number 13, and three detailed smart recommendations Amazon can implement to cut emissions, scale low carbon logistics, and accelerate renewables. Its recommendation includes measurable targets, timelines, and suggested government steps so that the executive board can both adopt and operationalize them. At the end, I will summarize the expected environmental and strategic benefits and finish with a call to action for the board to approve the roadmap. Amazon is a global technology and e-commerce leader with major business lines across online retail, third-party marketplace services, logistics, and Amazon Web Services. Its cloud business, which is referenced by Amazon 2024, the company operates hundreds of fulfillment centers, thousands of delivery partners, and data centers that together serve hundreds of millions of customers in worldwide. That scale drives both impact and opportunity. Amazon's logistics and data infrastructures are energy intensive, but the company also has the financial and procurement skill to accelerate system change. In recent years, Amazon has made headline sustainability commitments, including co-founding the Climate Pledge and dramatically expanding renewable energy procurement and clean energy projects across the globe. Those existing commitments create a strong platform for stretching ambition into binding, near-term actions that deliver measurable emissions reductions while protecting operations from climate risk. The United Nations Sustainable Development Goals (SDGs) were adopted by United Nations member states in 2015 as a universal 2030 agenda to end poverty, protect the planet, and ensure prosperity for all. And the 17 Sustainable Development Goals are deliberately interlinked. Progress on climate, for example, has knock-on benefits for health, inequality, and economic stability. For businesses, the Sustainable Development Goals are not only an ethical framework but also a practical strategic tool. They help firms identify systemic risk and market opportunities, align corporate goals with public policy, and respond to increasing investor and customer expectations for measurable sustainability performance. Given the scale for Amazon's operations, the company can meaningfully contribute to several sustainable development goals, but SDG number 13 is particularly central because climate impacts directly affect logistics resilience, energy costs, and global supply chains. Sustainable Development Goal number 13, Climate Action, asks organizations and governments to take urgent steps to mitigate greenhouse gas emissions and build resilience to climate impacts. For Amazon, Sustainable Development Goal number 30 connects directly to three core business areas. In number 1, transportation and last mile delivery emissions. In number two, energy consumption in data centers and fulfillment centers. And at last, number three, procurement and supplier practices across the global supply chain. Amazon co-founded the Climate Pledge and publicly aims to be net zero by 2040, which signals strategic intent. However, ambition must be translated into validated, short-term, and measurable steps to reduce absolute emissions and to enhance supply chain resilience. Committing to Sustainable Development Goal number 13 at the executive level therefore aligns corporate risk management, which is also can be called protecting operations from climate shocks, with opportunity like renewable energy contracts, low carbon logistics, new products, and grid services. Global progress on the Sustainable Development Goals and, in particular, climate targets is off track. UN reporting and independent coverage in 2023 found that only a small proportion of SDG targets are currently on course to be met, a stark signal that incremental actions will not be enough. For Amazon, inaction increases exposure to supply chain disruptions, regulatory risk, and reputational risk as customers and investors press for credible near-term outcomes. Conversely, decisive corporate action now, in the form of validated short-term targets, electrified logistics, and accelerated renewable procurement, reduces operational risk, can lower long-run energy and fuel costs, and strengthens market positioning with sustainable-minded customers and institutional investors. My first recommendation is for Amazon to publicly commit to science-based targets that require an absolute reduction in Scope 1 and 2 emissions of 50% within 10 years, with an accompanying roadmap to reduce Scope 3 emissions in priority categories. Rational, science-based targets validation provides independent scientific credibility and reduces accusations of greenwashing. Amazon's prior interactions with the science-based targets ecosystem have been rocky. In 2023, the company was removed from a prominent list of companies taking action after failing to submit a credible science-based targets plan in time, which underscores the need for a credible, externally validated decarbonization pathway to restore stakeholder trust. Implementation steps in number A. Immediately submit an science-based targets package for validation. And number B. Publish a year-by-year emissions reduction plan and capex profile. And number C. Link executive remuneration to interim targets to ensure delivery. My second recommendation focuses on the most tangible operational level Amazon controls. Electrify last mile delivery. Propose smart target. Deploy 50,000 additional electric delivery vehicles across the US, Europe, and India by 2028, and accelerated charger infrastructure partnerships in those regions. Rational and precedent, Amazon has already shown rapid progress in India, surpassing its target of 10,000 electric vehicles in the India delivery fleet ahead of schedule, and the company has a global commitment to deploy at least 1 lakh electric delivery vans by 2030. Scaling faster reduces direct transport emissions for seller and Scope 1 by 2 for Amazon's delivery, lowers operating cost over time, improves urban air quality, and demonstrates credible operational change to stakeholders. Implementation essentials include multi-OEM procurement, public-private charging hubs, and pilot heavy goods electric truck corridors where appropriate. My third recommendation is that Amazon go beyond matching and move toward net positive renewable energy supply. Specifically, bring online renewable generation equivalent to 150% of Amazon's global electricity consumption by 2030 and prioritize projects in geographies where Amazon's operations create local grid stress or where suppliers and partners will benefit. Rational, Amazon has already matched 100% of its electricity consumption with renewables and is the world's largest corporate purchaser of renewable energy, with hundreds of wind and solar projects and tens of gigawatts of capacity announced. Shifting to net positive supply would enable Amazon to feed excess clean energy into local grids, accelerate decarbonization for partner ecosystems, and create resiliency against market and policy shocks. Implementation steps expand direct corporate power purchase agreements, invest in community battery and grid balancing projects, and prioritize co-location of storage with data centers and fulfillment. Lastly, I want to conclude this presentation by saying that if it is implemented, the three recommendations would enable Amazon to cut absolute emissions materially within a decade, reduce exposure to fuel price shocks and carbon regulation, improve urban air quality, and create new revenue and partnership opportunities from grid services in green logistics. The reputational benefits also matter. Validated near-term science-based targets plus demonstrable EV and renewable outcomes will strengthen Amazon's license to operate and investor confidence. Given the weak global progress on SDG delivery, a credible and well-executed SDG number 13 commitment from Amazon would materially accelerate business-aligned climate outcomes and set a leadership example peers. My final recommendation to the executive board is simple: approve the science-based targets submission, fund the EV and renewables acceleration plan, and require quarterly public progress reporting to ensure the company's climate pledge becomes a verifiable set of outcomes rather than an aspiration.